Tune into ESG Matters with Risk Insights, where we explore ESG with impact. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ESG Matters with Risk Insights. I'm your host, Anushka Bogdanov, and before I dive in, let me thank you all for your patience and support for waiting for me over these past few months. I'm stronger now, with no new cancer markers, and ready for the next chapter. While I've been away, a lot has happened in the ESG space, and I'm excited to catch up with you. Today, we'll cover some key developments from 2024 that shaped the ESG landscape, including climate related events, regulatory changes, and the evolving renewable energy landscape, as well as conflicts of interest in ESG ratings. The year has begun with severe weather conditions, with increasing and frequent powerful storms. Wildfires and record breaking heat waves have persisted, which has driven up insurance costs in many countries. In South Africa, we have seen intense heat waves, snowfall, which has impacted agriculture and infrastructure, as well as has posed significant risk on public health. Flooding has continued to disrupt communities as well as livelihoods, increasing waterborne diseases and threatening food security in South Africa. In recent examples, we've seen over a million people in India's eastern coast having to evacuate because of a powerful cyclone approaching. So, climatologists are warning that storms are becoming more intense as global temperatures rise due to fossil fuel use. Amid these climate challenges, there has been a significant push towards renewable energy. The goal is to triple renewable energy capacity by 2030, with solar and wind power leading the way. However, we've also seen advanced technologies such as nuclear and fusion also gaining attention. In Africa, renewable energy adoption is accelerating, and many issuers are now reporting their net zero targets and commitments. Climate finance, green banking, and innovative financial instruments are paving the way for sustainable development. The upcoming COP29 in Baku will focus on enhancing ambition and enabling action, addressing issues such as climate finance. Last year at COP28 in Dubai, the Emirates Declaration on Sustainable Agriculture was endorsed by 159 countries aiming for sustainable food systems by 2025. Now, carbon capture technology has also gained traction. However, there is quite a bit of controversy around this. The world's largest carbon capture plant, called the Mammoth, has begun operations in Iceland this year, with the capacity to remove up to 36,000 tons of carbon emissions annually. Meanwhile, reforms in food and land systems are also gaining momentum, which have been driven by the agreements that were made at COP28 to reduce food waste, adopt agricultural practices as well as adapt to them, as well as to restore degraded land. Now, turning to the regulatory changes, 2024 also saw new laws mandating stronger ESG disclosures. The EU's Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive came into force, expanding the scope of sustainability reporting. Anti greenwashing measures, like the UK Financial Conduct Authority's new rules, aim to ensure accurate sustainability claims. In South Africa, the shift towards mandatory ESG disclosure is set for 2025, aligning with global trends. One ongoing issue is the potential conflict of interest within ESG rating firms. Many companies rely on issuer paid models where companies pay for their own ratings, raising questions about objectivity. Firms offering consulting services alongside ratings can also create conflicts, as the same companies they advise are also being rated. As a provider of ESG ratings for African issuers, Risk Insights maintains transparency, independence, refraining from offering advisory services to avoid conflicts of interest. This independence ensures the integrity of our ratings, even though it can create pressure from our issuers who may not appreciate the rigorous governance standards. Standardizing ESG metrics is crucial, especially with varying methodologies used by various rating firms. In Africa, the adoption of the ISSB guidelines is helping harmonize sustainability reporting, and Risk Insights tool takes all global frameworks and standards into account, placing Africa at the forefront of ESG governance and digital technology as we are using AI and machine learning algorithms to mine data. Another theme that has gained momentum this year has been biodiversity, with the task force on nature related financial disclosures finalizing recommendations. Companies are now expected to account for their nature related risks in their disclosure, with biodiversity focused investments and funds gaining popularity and momentum. So, something to watch out for. Another key development is the transformation of the voluntary carbon market. New integrity guidelines emphasize transparency and quality in carbon credit projects, ensuring that they are genuinely contributing to emission reductions. Africa is rich in carbon credit potential and is poised to play a significant role. Risk Insights data is key here. Financial materiality is increasingly viewed through the lens of sustainability, with companies recognizing that ESG or environmental and social risks have a direct impact on financial materiality. In Africa, we are seeing this shift gaining traction, especially in South Africa, Mauritius, Rwanda, and Botswana issuers. Supply chain transparency is also gaining momentum and shape, with corporates focusing on Scope 3 emissions, which include indirect emissions from the supply chain. Regulations like the EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive are holding companies accountable for their environmental and human rights impact. Many companies in Africa are preparing for this change. Now, I call you to action today in ensuring that we drive the risk of greenwashing and take ESG data seriously in our investments and credit decisions. Asset managers in Africa have a significant role to play in terms of deepening the capital markets for sustainable investments, while regulators and institutions should emphasize the need for transparency and accountability. Building capacity for understanding climate risk within organizations is also crucial. Many lack resources to make the changes required. The time to act is now. Organizations need to build capacity in individuals that can lead ESG as transformation with the attitude of who cares wins. These must be individuals that can understand long term economics through finance and development economics. The race for pure capitalism has been superseded by stakeholder value creation. Using Africa data by standard setters and not proxy data is going to be key to transform the Africa narrative. Jurisdiction based natural capital data by Risk Insights provides insights on African issuers to compete on the global stage, leveling the playing fields for generational change. Being short term focused will not provide Africa with long term transition. Therefore, Africa's governance on ESG will be crucial to attract capital for change. Young Africans have the power to make that change for our future generations. And we must stand together to address the climate crisis, which could lead to food and natural resource shortages and further social inequalities on our continent. Let's ensure that our efforts are meaningful and impactful for a better world for all. Thank you for joining me today. I hope these calls to action resonate with you as they do with me, as well as everyone at Risk Insights. I look forward to our next time together before the year ends. Ciao for now. I'm Anushka Bogdanov. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and that you share, you like it, you repost it, and join me for another episode of ESG Matters with Risk Insights. Ciao for now.